In the last video, we learned that the Earth is moving towards 2-degree rise in global average temperature, and this is because of the extreme emission of carbon dioxide and other harmful greenhouse gases. So this indicates us to switch to renewable sources of energy, sources that can be renewed at a faster rate and are non-polluting and a cleaner form of energy resource. Did you know that we are surrounded by energy resources, particularly and most importantly with renewable sources of energy? These renewable sources of energy include solar energy from sun, wind energy from wind, hydel energy or tidal energy from water, and geothermal energy from earth. So these are some of the most important renewable sources of energy, out of which today we will be talking about solar energy and wind energy in particular. Cochin in India is the world's first fully solar powered airport. Have you ever heard of this? Well, if you haven't, then this is one of the most interesting facts you have ever heard about. Yes, in India, Cochin is the world's first solar-powered airport. Now, don't you think it's a great achievement? Yes, it is. In the world where we are carelessly using the limited or conventional sources of energy, here achieving such a solar-powered airport is actually a milestone. Solar energy is one of the most important forms of renewable sources of energy or non-conventional sources of energy. Now, solar energy is renewable, as I just mentioned. It means that it can be used again and again. So it is inexhaustible, right? Other than that, it is obtained by converting sun's heat into electricity with the help of solar panels. Now you can see here, this picture shows you solar panels. So solar panels are designed in such a way that they can absorb the sun's heat and then convert the sun's heat into electricity. So in this manner, we are not burning fossil fuels that are very limited in nature. Rather, we are using a more cleaner form of energy, that is solar energy, which is non-polluting and more sustainable as compared to other fossil fuels. So, solar energy can be used in different ways. It can be produced by using connectors or solar panels. These solar panels are usually made of silicon, which has a high heat conductivity rate. So, when these absorb heat, it can be used for small purposes like charging a phone or a battery, or even for lighting an entire house. However, there's a little drawback of this particular form of energy. So, climate and cloud cover at a particular place can affect the efficiency of solar power. How is that? Let's see. So, from these two pictures, let's understand how does this work. So, from the first picture, we see that it is showing a place with a clear sky where there is no cloud cover. So all the sun's rays are being absorbed by the surface of the earth, which means that if solar panels are installed in this particular place where there is no cloud cover and there is no obstruction, then the solar panels can easily absorb a good amount of solar radiation and provide us with more solar energy, which can be used for various purposes. But on the other hand, we have a picture showing a place which has a cloud cover. So this cloud cover is actually obstructing the amount of solar radiation from reaching the earth. It is reflecting back a portion of the solar radiation into the space and letting only a few of them pass through and reach the earth's surface. So if solar panels are installed in this particular place which has enough cloud cover, then the efficiency of solar power reduces. The solar panels will not be able to absorb that much solar radiation that it could in a place where there was no cloud cover, right? So this way, cloud cover can affect the efficiency of solar power, or rather any weather phenomena that is disturbing could affect the efficiency of solar panels or solar power. Other than that, tropical countries like India experience a good amount or receive a good amount of solar radiation. So installation of solar panels here would be a wiser decision, which can absorb a good amount of solar radiation and provide us with abundant solar energy. It is better not to install solar panels in places that have cloud cover or have cold temperatures and do not receive enough solar radiation. So, places that receive enough solar radiation should be spotted and solar panels should be placed or located there so that enough solar radiation is absorbed and good amount of solar energy is produced. From these places, it should be transferred. The solar energy should be transferred to places that do not experience or do not receive enough solar radiations. Bancha is the first village in India with 0 wooden stoves and no LPG cylinders. So here two very important resources are being conserved. Firstly, woods are being conserved as there is no wooden stoves here, and secondly, LPG cylinders are not present or not used in this particular village, which only means that petroleum based fuels like LPG are not being used, which means that they are conserving the limited resources, and on the other hand they are using more cleaner form of energy, that is solar energy. So all its 75 houses rely on solar powered stoves to meet their cooking needs, as you can see here. So there's a solar panel installed outside the house and the oven here is running on the solar energy being produced by this solar panel. So this is another very good example where developing countries like India are taking good measures in order to cut down on pollution and limiting the use of resources that are conventional and non-renewable. However, there's a certain limitation to the installation and use of these solar panels. These solar panels need to be installed on the rooftops. So these rooftops need to be very, very strong so that they can hold the weight of these solar panels. As you can see that they are installed in a small village in Bancha which do not have strong rooftops. That is why the solar panel is installed on the ground. So you see that these limitations though are very tiny, however in a long run the uses of these solar panels is very good and it can lead to a healthier environment. Solar energy is also used in many other ways. So there are solar cookers that help us cook food by using the solar energy or the heat of the sun directly and cook food on these solar cookers. Other than that, we have solar panels on spacecraft, which means that these spacecraft do not require any extra battery or electricity or any other fuel. Rather, they use solar energy from the sun's heat and they run on the solar energy. Then we have solar panels on rooftops. This help us light up the entire house and also help us generate electricity for various other purposes like electrical appliances like phones, machines and many other things. Also, did you know that in many parts of the world we have solar traffic signals? Yes, solar traffic signals are one in which solar panels are installed on the top of these traffic signals which do not require any electricity or battery to work. These are charged by these solar panels by absorbing the sun's heat and converting it into electricity, which is used to run these traffic signals. So let's point out the major solar power producers in India, and these states are Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh, Chhattisgarh, Uttar Pradesh, Haryana and Rajasthan and also Gujarat. Out of these, Rajasthan is the largest producer of solar energy in India, or we can say that Rajasthan has the highest installed capacity of solar energy in India. Now let us point out the leading solar power producers in the world. So in the world's perspective, the countries that are leading solar power producers are USA, Italy, Germany, India, China and Japan. Out of these, China is the largest producer of solar power in the world. So now that we have understood that solar energy is one of the most important forms of renewable and non-conventional energy resource, we must point out or understand the merits and demerits of this particular energy resource. So let's first look at the merits. The merits say that solar energy is cheap, which is very true. It is much cheaper as compared to other sources of energy. It is renewable, that means it can be used again and again, and it is inexhaustible, as mentioned here. Secondly, solar energy reduces the usage of fossil fuels. So initially, fossil fuels were burnt in order to produce electricity. But with the advent of solar energy and solar panels, we have got to know that this is a better alternative than using fossil fuels, which are limited in nature. Thirdly, it is non-pollutant, which means that it is a cleaner form of energy and it does not emit any greenhouse gas or any other harmful substance that could cause harm to the environment. Fourthly, it has a low maintenance cost. So those solar panels are initially costly. However, maintaining them is not that costly. It is much cheaper in a longer period of time. And finally, it reduces electricity bills. Of course, electricity is costly, especially in these modern times. However, using solar energy as a form of energy to produce electricity is a much wiser decision. So now that we have looked at the merits, let's point out the demerits. The first demerit is that it has a high installation cost. Yes, as I just mentioned a while ago, that installing solar panels could be costly. However, in a longer run, they are much more cheaper as it provides us with non-polluting energy. Then the second demerit says that it depends on weather and climate, and hence they are not uniformly effective, which means that places that have cloud cover or low temperatures and do not receive enough solar radiation, their installation of these solar panels will not give you any use. They will not be as efficient as when installed in places that receive good amount of solar radiation and can produce solar energy in abundance, right? So climate and weather are important factors that affect the efficiency of solar power. Then finally, it uses lots of space for installation. Yes, this is true. Placing 1 or 2 solar panels is not enough to produce a good amount of solar energy. So placing a lot of solar panels require a lot of space. Only then can we produce good amount of solar energy. Have you heard about the boy who harnessed the wind? Well, he is the one. He is William Kamkwamba. William Kamkwamba is the same boy who harnessed the wind. He, by using different materials from a nearby scrapyard, made a windmill or constructed a windmill on his own without any modern machines or without the help of anyone else. Why he is famous? Well, he did this in order to help with irrigation, and by doing this he saved not only his family but the entire village from famine. So he here proved that introducing renewable sources of energy can help us go a long way and protect us from natural disasters like famine. After this event happened, many years later, he also wrote a book on this particular event, and he is the author of the book, which is known as The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. So this is William Kamkwamba. So before moving on, could you help me answer this question? Who is the author of The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind? Is it Robin Williams? Is it William Kamkwamba? Or J.K. Rowling? Or is it Robert Frost? Yes, we just learned that it is William Kamkwamba who authored the book The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Wind power or wind energy is not a new discovery. Wind power has been harnessed over centuries, yes, from the ancient civilizations of Egyptian civilization, Harappan civilization, Indus Valley civilization. All these old civilizations have been using wind power from that period of time. So wind power has been harnessed over centuries to operate mills, pumps, and also to navigate ships, particularly in these ancient civilizations. So this is a windmill of 1888. This is one of the most important windmills of the early centuries. However, nowadays a wind turbine is used to generate electricity. So windmills have now been converted or replaced with wind turbines in order to generate electricity. These wind turbines have silicon blades, right? So these wind turbines have silicon blades and they're usually built as long towers so that they could get winds with enough velocity or enough speed so that they can produce good amount of wind energy. Let's see how this works. So places with high wind velocity are best to install such wind turbines. These wind turbines use the kinetic energy of wind and turn it or convert it into rotational energy. This rotational energy is then converted into electricity using different types of generators. So when these wind turbines are located in wind farms or places that receive wind with high velocity, wind energy is produced. Higher the altitude of these wind turbines, more energy can it produce using this high velocity winds. So when these wind turbines are located in wind farms and they are 200 in number, they can light up to more than 1.5 lakh American houses and 3 lakh European houses. So you see, this renewable source of energy can be so useful for so many houses or so many places, and they are non-polluting, so they are clean form of energy resource. So now let us locate places with major wind farms in India. And what are these places? We have Jaisalmer, we have Mamatkheda, Dhule, Damanjodi, Satara district, Waspet and Sangli. Then we have Nimbagalu, and then we have Kanyakumari. Out of all these places with major wind farms in India, the two most important or the largest wind farms in the world are the Jaisalmer Wind Park and the Mupandal Wind Farm in Jaisalmer and Kanyakumari respectively. The leading producers of wind energy in the world include Brazil, France, Germany, India, China and Indonesia. Out of these, China is the country with the highest installed capacity of wind energy in the world. So now that we have understood that wind energy is a non-conventional renewable source of energy and it is non-polluting in nature, let's point out the merits as well as demerits of this particular renewable source of energy. The first merit says it provides us with cheap source of electricity, or it is a cheap source of electricity. So electricity was usually developed or generated by burning fossil fuels. However, over the years, people have shown interest towards renewable resources of energy, and now they use wind energy as a cheap source of generating electricity. Other than that, it is a renewable resource. So as I've been mentioning again and again, it is a renewable resource, means it is inexhaustible and it can be used again and again. There is no limit to the use of this wind energy. Another important merit is that it is non-polluting. Yes, as I just mentioned, that wind energy is a non-polluting energy resource because its source is wind, which is clean. So it makes this particular energy a clean form of energy. Then it is low maintenance cost energy, which means that to generate this particular energy, we do not require too much maintenance cost, though its initial cost or its installation cost is high. However, maintaining these turbines and wind farms is not that costly. So it has a low maintenance cost. Now let us look at the demerits. The demerits say that it is extremely expensive installation. Yes, as I just mentioned, that though the maintenance is not that costly, however, installing these wind turbines in the wind farms can be very, very costly. Then it needs a constant flow of wind. Absolutely. So these wind turbines that turn the kinetic energy into rotational energy, then by the help of generators convert it into electricity, require a continuous flow of high velocity wind. So places that experience high velocity wind are ideal for the location of these wind farms. So there's a limitation to where these turbines can be located. Other than that, wind turbines are dangerous to birds. Now, since they are built at a good height and they keep rotating, the silicon blades in these wind turbines rotate at a very high speed, it might be very dangerous for birds. Another demerit is that it requires remote locations and thus transportation is expensive. Of course, you cannot locate these wind farms in the middle of a city. You have to locate these far away from busy or populated areas in remote locations. However, these remote locations makes transportation very expensive, as providing this particular wind energy from the wind farms to the different parts of the country can be very, very expensive and can take a very long time. Other than that, it causes noise pollution. Yes, so since these turbines are using high velocity wind, it can cause noise pollution to the surrounding areas, which makes it more necessary to locate these far away from populated places. So these were the merits and demerits of wind energy. So in this video, we understood that conventional or non-renewable sources of energy should be soon switched over to renewable or non-conventional sources of energy. This renewable or non-conventional sources of energy could be very, very helpful for the future generation, as they are non-polluting, they are cheaper source of energy, and they can be very, very helpful in keeping the environment or the earth healthy. In this video, we focused on solar energy. That is one of the most important renewable sources of energy, and it is made by converting sun's heat into electricity using solar panels. Solar panels are used to absorb the sun's heat and then convert it into electricity. However, there's a certain drawback to these solar panels. They have to be installed on the rooftop, which requires strong, sturdy roofs, right? Other than that, it also needs to be installed at places which receive good amount of solar radiation. Places that are cold or places that do not receive enough sun's heat are not good or not ideal for the location of solar panels. So once places with receive good amount of solar energy are spotted, then solar panels are installed at this particular places and solar energy is produced. From these places, this energy is distributed to places that have cold climate or low temperature and do not experience a good amount of solar radiation. We further learned that wind energy is another very important form of renewable energy, and it is used for various purposes, particularly to generate electricity. However, there are certain limitations or drawbacks to this particular energy too, as we just learnt. In the next video, we will be learning about another very important energy resource that is renewable and non-conventional in nature, and that is hydropower or hydel energy. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at deltastep.com or download the DeltaStep app to learn one-to-one with our amazing teachers or to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock test. Get all your doubts resolved instantly. Learn via games and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.